Viewership jumped. Not gradually. Not slightly. It surged. According to early metrics, her segment outperformed surrounding NBA content. Clips of her analysis outpaced.
They need to go get, well, the next best thing, I suppose. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark will join NBC Sports as a special contributor for the newly launched Basketball Night in America on February 1st, preceding the Lakers-Knicks game at Madison Square Garden. It will be CC's first time in an analyst-type role on TV. She will return to the show on March 29th, preceding Knicks Thunder in Oklahoma City. She is joining a studio team.
Because what started as a simple segment turned into something nobody could stop. It happened fast. Too fast to control. Within minutes, social media lit up, viewership spiked. Clips spread faster than highlights from playoff games. And suddenly, people weren't just watching Caitlin Clark, they were reacting to her. Not her stats. Not her points. Her presence. And that's when the panic started. Because this wasn't a WNBA broadcast. This wasn't a women's basketball segment buried late in the schedule. This was NBC. This was NBA coverage. This was prime attention. And Caitlin Clark didn't look nervous. She didn't look overwhelmed. She didn't look grateful to be there. She looked comfortable. Dangerously comfortable. She stood in front of that screen, breaking down plays like she owned the room, explaining spacing, movement, timing, not like a guest, but like someone who belonged there. And that's when people noticed something uncomfortable. She wasn't being treated like a novelty. She was being treated like an authority. Analysts reacted in real time. You could see it on their faces. The surprise, the pause. The moment they realized this wasn't going the way they expected. Because Caitlin Clark didn't just answer questions. She led the segment. She anticipated follow-ups. She corrected assumptions. She explained the game in a way casual viewers, because when attention moves, power follows. And this is where the story turns uncomfortable for a lot of people. Behind the scenes, there was immediate tension. According to insiders, multiple WNBA players were not happy watching this unfold. Not because Caitlin did anything wrong, but because of what it represented. Exposure. Validation. And something they were told didn't matter.
Say that Clark, the Indiana Fever star with an enormous following.
So the WNBA are not going to be happy with this. That's all I'm going to say. They are absolutely positively not going to be happy with this right here. Oh, Jesus, did I say weeks? I mean years. It's getting to the stage now where it's just been so long that I'm forgetting. Like, this narrative has been going on for weeks, months, years, and it's never going to stop. Caitlin Clark could win 10 rings and they're still going to complain about her not winning in high school. Like, I just mean it where it's like, these people, none of this is relevant to anything. Like, it is funny in terms of the
basketball voice. And that changes everything. This is why the reaction from certain corners was so sharp. Because the moment exposed something the league has tried to manage for years. Star power isn't equal, and pretending it is doesn't make it true. Some players move the needle, some don't, and Caitlin Clark just moved it on live television in front of an NBA audience. That's when analysts started saying it out loud. This isn't normal. This doesn't happen by accident.
That Clark, the Indiana Fever star with an enormous following within the game, is joining the network's pregame coverage for its debut of Sunday Night Basketball this weekend when the Los Angeles Lakers play the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden. The debut. They picked her to kick it off. Not, yeah, it'll do a couple weeks and then you'll come in. No. We need you to launch this thing, dude. We need you to kick this off, CC. And if you remember, Peacock, NBC Universal, they love themselves for some Caitlin Clark. You remember Caitlin Clark's senior year? I forget which scoring record it was. Maybe somebody in the comments can correct me.
Television, during an NBA broadcast, Caitlin Clark was being elevated in a way nobody could ignore. And the worst part? She earned it. No controversy. No theatrics. No complaining. Just competence. That's when reactions shifted from excitement to resentment. Because when one person gets this much attention, it forces a question nobody wants asked. Why her? And the answer is simple. People watch. NBC didn't push Caitlin Clark. Viewers pulled her forward. The network followed the numbers. And numbers don't care about politics. They care about results. According to multiple reports, internal conversations started almost immediately, not public statements, private discussions. What does this mean for future coverage? How do we balance this? What happens if this keeps happening? Because it wasn't just a one-off. Clips kept circulating. Engagement stayed high. Fans wanted more. And that's when the fear really set in. Because once a star crosses into mainstream sports media, not as a story, but as a presence, you can't put them back. Caitlin Clark wasn't just a WNBA player that night. She was a
Flood said he's convinced Clark can handle this new role. Quote, she's had cameras pointed at her for years, and she certainly always put on a show with a basketball in her hand. And after a game ends, she's always a great interview, Flood said. She's always so thoughtful in everything she says, and to have the ability to do that on this platform with this team, it's going to be a lot of fun to listen to. That's the beauty of who she is. Clark has dabbled in sports broadcasting before, going viral once for attempting to do some play-by-play while watching the Philadelphia Phillies, not knowing Fever teammate Lexi Hull was secretly recording her. Furthermore, Clark was actually in the booth, not doing play-by-play, but in the booth for a Yankees game, her rookie season, or after her rookie season. She was in the booth doing a Yankees game. She went to the locker room, pictured with Aaron Judge, the whole...
The NBA knows that. Sponsors definitely know that. Which brings us to the part nobody wants to say out loud. Money follows attention. And attention just followed Caitlin Clark into rooms she was never supposed to dominate this quickly. This isn't about jealousy. It's about reality, because when one person becomes the bridge between leagues, audiences, and platforms, they gain influence whether anyone likes it or not. And influence makes people uncomfortable, especially those who believe the system would protect them from it. The aftermath is still unfolding. More appearances, more coverage, more demand. And every time Caitlin Clark shows up, the numbers back her up.
To be like, people in the media were scared to be pro Caitlin Clark 2 years ago because, you know, you were deemed as being problematic if you didn't think Caitlin Clark would actually, in fact, shouldn't have been the number one overall pick, and you know, all of this stuff. Like, if you weren't 100% anti Caitlin Clark, there was something wrong with you. At least the general media aren't necessarily like that anymore. The WNBA media absolutely are. Like, we've still, the phrase "the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark" is one that was used by commentators. Like, to be fair, at least no one's gone full Cheryl Swoops. The fact Elle Duncan apologizing to Cheryl Swoops is still one of the craziest things. So basically, Elle Duncan said that Cheryl Swoops said Katie Lou Samuelson was more important to the Fever than Caitlin Clark. And that's what Elle Duncan reported that Cheryl Swoops said. Cheryl Swoops did not say that.
And it definitely doesn't happen without consequences. Because while Caitlin was gaining credibility, others were losing leverage. The old argument that no one player is bigger than the league started to feel outdated. Not wrong. Just incomplete. Because when a league grows, it grows through faces. And NBC just showed everyone which face draws attention across platforms. According to sources familiar with the situation, this is where frustration turned into anger. Not at Caitlyn, at the system. Because some players felt blindsided, others felt exposed, and a few realized something unsettling. They couldn't stop this. Caitlin Clark didn't ask for this spotlight.
Play Austin Reeves, you play Luka, you play Rui, and we're gonna break down how the Lakers offense goes about things, right? Caitlin Clark, I'm gonna be Luka, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna show you, Stephanie, how JJ Redick gets Luka open shot. Something like that, that's it. Clark was limited to 13 games because of injury last season with the Fever, who made it to the WNBA semifinals and fell to the eventual champion Las Vegas Aces. She returned to the court in December, taking part in a camp with USA Basketball's senior women. It's unknown if she will address Labor Matters Sunday, but Flood dropped one tease about what might be coming during Clark's debut appearance. We're hoping to have Caitlin with a basketball in her hand. That's not a tease. That's not a tease. You're not teasing the shoe, right? You're not teasing the shoe.
Stumble. She dominated it. That's why the debate exploded. Why commentators started arguing. Why social media split into sides. Why even neutral fans had opinions. Some called it unfair. Others called it inevitable. But nobody could deny it. This moment changed the conversation. Because once fans see you succeed at the highest level, not just playing, but explaining, commanding, leading, expectations change. They don't want less. They want more. And NBC knows that.